Another way to answer this question, which I prefer personally, I think to me this is the best way to do it, right? Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're gonna go over 3 different ways to get the top to return or a top in SQL. So as you can see open, I have Amazon Redshift open, and I have a query editor here. And I put some prompts up. We're gonna go through these different problems, okay? So the first prompt we're gonna go through is what are the top 10 close prices for Apple in 2025? So I'm gonna start off, guys, just showing you what the data set looks like. Okay, let's do, yeah, it's like this. And we're gonna say, so I'm just gonna do like a limit. Well, actually, it's inherent in here, so do that. So you can see what it looks like. All right, all right. Okay, awesome. So you can see we have the trading date, the ticker, the open price, the high price, the low price, the close price. I don't have the adjusted price, we have the volume. So I'm gonna go ahead and do where ticker equals Apple. Okay. And then I'm also gonna do and where trading date equals where the date, I think it's date part year, because I don't think you have year, like just year. And in Redshift. So let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and Google that really quick because I don't know to be certain. So I'm gonna date part year in Google here. Redshift. Let's see what comes back. Okay, so we say the year for a little string. Oh, this date. Got it. Date part year. I'm literally saying it. Okay, date part year. So I'm gonna put in trading date, and that should return what we want. Cool. So that's gonna give us all the dates for 2025. Okay. And just to confirm that we may be missing one day, but just to confirm it, like I'm just gonna show it to you. I'm just gonna order it so you guys can kind of see like what's the latest date we have. Cool, it's 12:31. Okay, cool. We're gonna go ahead and do the first one right now, and I'm only gonna show you ways to get the top end that are generally applicable to all databases. One way is not necessarily in all of them, but it's becoming more you're seeing it more, the technique being used and available. So I'm gonna show you that one too. But we're not gonna do things like limit just because you can't really use that in production. It's just not really a common thing. And when you're being asked in interviews, if you say like I do limit 10 to get the top 10, they're gonna push back and make you use a window function or some other function to do it. So for the first one, we're gonna go and do just a window function and get the top 10 prices, all right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this right now. And okay, so we have the top 25, and let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and get this an alias. So like that. And I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna say, okay. So I'm gonna do a window function. We're gonna do row number over, and you can do rank as well. I just do row number. I'm not really worried about ties. I'll probably do another video on ties and things like that, but I'm just gonna keep it simple. So we're gonna partition by the ticker. If you don't know what partition is, what you're effectively saying is, okay, I want to get the top 10 by these different dimensions. So like right here we have ticker, but let's say we also had let's say we want to do ticker and the month, right? Then it would give me the top 10 for each month inside of Apple, right? But in this case, I only want it in 2025. So I'm only gonna say just give it to me for the ticker. But again, if I wanted it for the month and the ticker, I would say ticker and then the month, and it would give me the top 10 prices for each month. I'm gonna say ticker, and then I need to add the partition by. And I'm going to say order by the trading date It's always gonna default to ascending order. That's not what I want. My bad, guys. Okay, so we're getting the top 10 prices. So I'm ordering by the close price. Again, it's always going to default to ascending order. I'm going ahead and switch it to descending, and I'm going to say this is as price ranking. Okay, so let's see what that gives us. Cool. It's already in descent. It's already in descending order, so it even returning descending order for us. So we have that. So then if we want to get the top 10, we can do like this. So say select star from, and then we can move this into, shift that, make that a subquery, and we're gonna call that, give it an A, and it does that, and we're gonna say, okay. So now we're gonna say where A dot price ranking is less than or equal to 10. It's gonna give us a top 10 prices for that year. Okay, awesome. So now you can see, right, we have the top 10 prices for the year. It just so happened that that those prices happen to come along later in like the year in December. But as you can tell, right, like the second was the highest, but the third and first. But then you had dates from November. You also had dates later in the month. So they must have been on a upward trajectory throughout the year, and it just so happened that landed at the end of the year was the highest prices. So that's one way to answer this question. Another way to answer this question, which I prefer personally, I think to me this is the best way to do it, right? Yeah, I'm gonna show you this. Okay, so we're gonna copy this to cut down on the amount of writing. Yeah, yeah. To me, this is definitely the fastest way to achieve this. And generally it'll work on most modern databases. You're not gonna have an issue, so it should work pretty well. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. And we're going to use qualify statement. Okay, so we're going to take this and qualify. Basically, you can think of it as like, and I hate really saying this, but I'm just going to use it. You can think of it as a where clause, but it happens after where. Just FYI. So what's happening is the database engine is going to go ahead and let me put so it gets off that red. The database engine, what it's going to do is it's going to pull all the Apple prices for 2025 first, and then from there go ahead and qualify, which basically is like, think of it as like another where clause. And I'm gonna say, hey, give me where it's less than, where this is less than or equal to 2, right? So it's gonna give me the row number, aka rank them, and I'm saying, hey, qualify that as in only give me the top 10. And you get this error, which you get this error right now, right? And I forget why, but in Redshift you can't just use qualify like that. I think you have to like give it an alias or something like that. So let's just go ahead and Google it and figure it out. So qualify not working in Redshift. Forget the reason. We'll pull it and see. So I think we do something like, let me see. Let's keep looking. All right, so it looks like you need to use an alias, which we are already doing. But let's see. Maybe we need to explicitly do it like this. Let's see. Let's try that. Oh, I guess it just gave me the error message, but yeah, I'm almost certain you have to explicitly use an alias for it to work. Okay, cool. So as you can see, we got the exact same results as we did here. the same days. The difference is, right, you cut out this step of having to create the subquery and then getting the top 10 from there. You can just directly go and do that, right? So to me, that is hands down the best way to get a top in. Now, the third way I like to get the top in, which gives you more flexibility, but it's more work. But when you're um, an analytics engineer and data engineering, using CTE is really powerful because you can reuse them. So let me show you what I mean by using a CTE, right? So I'm gonna say I'm gonna call this Apple. And basically a CTE is a way to it's just a programmatic way to basically reference code again. You can think of it as a function in a function that you would use in scripting, and then you can basically reuse it. So to cut on time, I'm gonna copy this here. Actually, I'm gonna copy this first one, right? Okay. So what I can do now is I can copy this, right? If you've never seen a CTE, what I would do is I would say select star from, this is the name. This is what you're qualifying your name as. So AAPL. Now watch this. It's going to return all the records for AAPL in 2025. Yeah, perfect, right? So return all the records for AAPL in 2025. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, well, I really, really like that. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and actually do my qualification statement separately and do it here and not do it here. So if I take this, all right, I might say like A, just give it an alias. We're gonna drop all this. Okay. And technically I'm gonna kill this too, just so you guys can see, like, but I could have used that as well. Okay, so we do this. Oh, get rid of that. Okay. Yeah, so now you can see it, right? Same records. So get the same records again. We know it's working. What's happening is now we have the CTE that we can reference multiple times. So let's say, for example, you wanted to know the top 10 and you wanted to know the bottom 10. You could effectively union these together and like re-reference it. So I could say something like this, and then if I do ascending order and give me the top 10, this should work. We should get the top 10 and the bottom 10 for the year. Okay, cool. Yep. So we have 20 records now, and you can see the how far they are, right? You see all these ones from earlier, the 270 to 284, but you also see these prices that are really, really low, like this 181 or 171. So I'm guessing that 171 is probably the lowest ranking, right? So it's really, really powerful because you can reuse the same code multiple times. Okay, right? So that takes care of the first question, which is what are the top 10 close prices for Apple in 2025? The next one is, okay, well, I want to know of the max price for Apple, what was the percentage that price for that day made up of the max price? So again, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use another CTE, right? And we're gonna show the ability to be able to use a CTE to be able to arrive at this answer in a very dynamic manner. So I'm gonna say read it from Apple from 2025, and so it gives us the base, like we have all the records from 2025 in Apple, and then we can use comma, and I'm gonna say okay, max Apple, let's do the same, Apple price as. So now we're gonna say select and get the max close price from AAPL, right? We're gonna call it as max price. So now we have that. So now we have both prices, right? Oh, we have the max price, and I'll show you what it looks like. And based on what we know, it should be like, I think like 284, something like that. But let's see. So I'm gonna run this. Should work. Let's see. Or that 286 is the number. Okay, 286. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, and just to make sure, that let's check. Yep, 286. Okay, cool. So now we have the max price as a CT, and we have all the other prices for 2025. Now to join onto them to be able to do this calculation, you need to add in a ticker. So you have something to join onto. You're gonna say ticker, and then we're gonna say group by ticker. Now technically, you don't necessarily use a ticker. You could just really just do like a cross join effectively, but that's like for another discussion. But use a ticker, that way you have something discreetly to join onto, even though we've already got rid of really using one ticker. So we're gonna go and say group by ticker, and then we're gonna come down here. We're gonna say select star from AAPL, use an alias, inner join AAPL, and I highly recommend you guys using more descriptive. I should not use that. Using more descriptive. Using more descriptive. What am I trying to say? More descriptive aliases for your tables, because it's easier to refer to later on. It can be very difficult if you have this long query to figure out what A and B means. That's something I do. It's a really bad habit, but I recommend you not doing that. So APL dot ticker, right? So let's go ahead and run that piece of code. And we're gonna say a dot, and then we're gonna also, or a star, and then we're gonna pull in maple dot max price. Let's see the max price, and we should get that 286 number. And that means we're well on our way to answering the second question. Boom, perfect. So you see that you see that repeating itself at 286. So perfect. So now what we're gonna do is do the division that we talked about, right? So we're gonna say, okay, I want to get the A dot close price divided by that, and we're gonna call it percent of max. Again, this is really, really powerful because we're able to reuse the same code. So you could make this a CTE and reference it later. If you're using something like DBT, you can take these tables from a DBT and create models of them, and be able to reuse them. So it's really, really great to use CTEs. I can do that, and now you'll see what we got here. Cool. So now we have the percentage, right? So now we know what the percentage is for that, and if we find the top one, it's gonna be one. I'm not gonna go look for it, but it would give you back the number one. So awesome, right? So hopefully you were able to learn something today. But to recap, we went over different ways to do top ends. My personal favorite is using qualify, but using the qualify keyword. But today we did qualify. We used a CTE to do it, and then third, we also used a row. We used a row number window function and also using a subquery. And then the second question we answered, we as far as the max price, we able to use the CTE, and I was able to show you guys how CTEs are powerful, and how you can reuse them in your code. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I cannot wait to do another video and see you guys next time. Peace.